Hi, creators. Doro Kiley here. I'm laughing because I just did like a 20-minute video and lost it. So we're going to do this again. Um, yeah, this is Doro Kiley, and it's a gorgeous day out here. I just was watching a short YouTube video. I got to recommend this guy. He's good. Spiritual Renaissance. If you get a chance, look him up. He's quite wise. I like looking at his stuff. And today I watched one, and in the midst of his conversation, he said, "These aren't my thoughts. This is just what I realize." And it really popped out for me because it's so much a part of the spiritual path is just remembering. It's not like we have to go to university to learn how to be enlightened. We just have to follow the breadcrumbs of remembering. Um, so what this brings up, and this is the question for today, is what are thoughts? It's a great question. I love this. Um, and are we creating our own reality? And so what I want to do, I'm going to put his link below, by the way. His name, I think, is Yosh, and I'll put his channel below. But so I'm going to give my 2 cents about the way I see thoughts. Um, Thoughts and mind are very different. Mind, M-I-N-D, for me, is like the sky, and the thoughts are like the clouds. So the mind is holding the thoughts, but it's not the thoughts. We can have a clear sky without any clouds at all. So I want to bring up this great picture, and I've used it a lot, and it's full of symbology, and I have just overlaid all kinds of stuff, and it works for me. Um, and it's part of my picture of the way I view this whole spiritual quest. So let me bring this up. This is the caduceus. The caduceus, as you might or might not know, is a symbol that we see often in mythologies. We see it often with the god Hermes, and later I think the Romans used the symbol, and it was like part of Mercury and all this stuff. But and it's found in Hinduism. So because it's such a valuable image to use, because it describes the path so well. So what I'm seeing here, and the way I kind of pulled this together, is that if you envision this whole picture here below the mountains as water, as a body of water, and if you've ever been diving or anything, the farther you go down in a body of water, the colder it gets, the more pressure there is, the darker it gets. And so this is akin to our emotional body. So in the lower, we could use the imagery of the chakras, right? So we'll talk chakras now. The lower chakra is the basic fear, survival. Your life is on the line. You're not sure if you're going to get your next breath. I mean, it's really, really dark, really deep and disorienting down there. And it's so solid. It feels so stuck that often people do need help to get out of that. But at some point in our life, we go through these things. If not during our life, we may go through it towards the end of our life, and we may spend thousands of lifetimes down here. I don't know, but as we work our way up, and what ends up happening is there's some kind of a shock, some kind of a trauma, something happens, and maybe it's just the way we wake up, like a flower starts to blossom, it's just built into the system. At some point, that energy down below is going to start moving upward. And like I said, it's very often through some kind of a life trauma that this can happen. So as these, what we see, energies moving up, you could see this as, let's talk about these two snakes first. These what are represented here as serpents or snakes. They weren't always represented as serpents and snakes. They used to just look like ribbons, I think, back in Mesopotamia or early Egypt. I'm not sure. But these two things wrapping around represent, one on the one side is wisdom. Wisdom is the path that leads us towards remembering, and that the path is the process of remembering who we are. And then the next one, the next snake, you could say, is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the awareness of the present moment, the experiences that we are having in our body, mind, and emotions. And this awareness is without judgment. It's judgment free. We do always have discernment. Even a flower knows which way the sun is shining. So you can. It's not a judgment. It's just an understanding, a knowing. So those are the two tools that we use to increase our understanding of who we are, what's going on, what's it all about, all those big questions. And as we work our way up this scale, we're going through all these emotions. So thoughts are like, thoughts, in my understanding of the way this all works, thoughts, every thought already exists. It's like every drop, every molecule of water on this planet already exists. And it doesn't matter if it's ice or water or steam or whatever form water takes, it's still a molecule of water. And so if you think all of these thoughts already exist as a molecule somewhere in this scale or this body of water, so if that's true, where are you? Where are we in this picture? Are we having emotions on the pleasure guilt level? You know, this is a level of sensuality, addictions, really kind of lost in the pleasures of life, and then as you move up, you've got some more willpower. I want to do some more searching, find better words for these, but it's self-creation. It's the arts. It's where you want to make your mark in the world. You want to be somebody. And then as you move up, you're going, now this is the center point. This is where we begin to really, where the rubber meets the road. This center point of love. This is not love of somebody. It's an understanding that we are all in this together, and that we are having quite an adventure sometimes. And understanding that, and understanding that we are all just human, and that can come with some sense of grief and feelings of kind of awe. It's like, oh my gosh, this is a lot bigger than me. And so anyway, these are the different trillions of different thoughts that you could be having anywhere in this body of water. And they all vibrate at different levels. The lower level is a much slower, heavier vibration. And as you move up, it becomes lighter and higher, more spacious, clearer, until you get beyond the snakes. Okay, so now we're going up all the way into insight, sometimes falling into illusion, but yeah, I'm going to reword some of these to be more precise in the way I'm seeing it. So once you get beyond the snakes, you actually go beyond judgment. You understand the big picture. You know there's no one thing better than another. It's all part of the same puzzle. And then you have that the wings. Now, the wings represent, in my understanding, the two forces and the two balancing forces, and right in the center of that is the balancing point, the focal point of balance, which is the state of all knowing. So if you take something like a wagon wheel and you put a piece of gum on the outside and the wheel is spinning, it's going to go for a ride. But if you put that piece of gum right in the center, right in the middle pinpoint of the hub, it's not really going anywhere. It's turning, but it's not going anywhere. And it has, from its perspective, it's got access to all the other spokes. And I'm going to put this other picture up here. This is the way I'm seeing consciousness in general is like a dandelion. So in this very core, in this center, you could say is the origin or the mind, the big mind, not the thoughts. Like, remember I said the sky is like the mind, the thoughts are like the clouds. So in this picture here, in the center of the dandelion, imagine is the mind, the ultimate clear mind, and out of it comes all of these expressions. And I would say, I think in terms of, what are we now, 7.8 or whatever billions of people, sort of spreading out from the center. And we are on the outside now and intermingling with each other. So all of these, look at the dandelion, those little seeds on the outside, the fluffy parts are touching each other. And there's like this unity of outer being that we are. And yet we are all connected to this core, which is our essence, which is our creator, you could say. So the thoughts are on the everywhere. The thoughts are everywhere, and they contain everything. And one little seed on this dandelion may have a certain quality of thoughts, and the other ones are having their qualities of thoughts. But we're all in this together, and the better and more deliberately we learn how to play our own parts, the more complete we will be in service to this bigger entity that we are a part of. And when I say entity, I don't mean like somebody. And who knows? Maybe it is. Maybe we are just a little pea on a pod here and part of a bigger vine. We don't know. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on what thoughts are. They are here, they are everywhere, they are part of us, they are around us, they are clouds, and depending on how we are vibrating, like a tuning fork, if you have a tuning fork and you hold it up while it's vibrating, it's going to resonate with all of those other thoughts that are in vibration with it. And we're going to start thinking, we're going to pull them in. We're going to start thinking those thoughts if that's how we're resonating. The beauty of mindfulness and meditation is being able to step back from it's quieting the vibrations so that you just are. You're just witnessing. Witnessing is a very a very important skill, I think, to develop. I am working with someone who, during guided meditation uh, with the breath, and this is very common, I think, when you are told focus on your breath, many people cannot help but to start controlling their breath. Wherever their attention goes, they feel they need to control it, and it's very common. So the breath meditation helps to begin to let the body just do what it does. I mean, we all know that if we're not paying attention to our breath, it's perfectly fine. We can sleep through the night. We can, go play soccer, whatever. Our breath is still going to be there. So when we focus on it in meditation, it's very interesting that some people feel the need that now that their attention is there, they have to somehow control it. So learning how to just be the witness of it rather than controlling it is the first step, I would say, in allowing your life to unfold naturally. I did another talk on this some time ago. In Taoism, there is the concept of Wu Wei, which is just the way of life. You don't, a tree doesn't need a instruction manual to figure out how to grow. It does it. That life is moving through it and does it for them. All they have to do is be there, be present, be willing to move in that direction. Our thoughts as humans, lucky us, become so busy and convoluted, and we become confused about sometimes what to do next. And the more we can just quiet those thoughts, separate from, like I said, with the breath, to not have to control it, to be able to separate it and just watch it. It will unfold correctly. It knows what it's doing. My dear mother, she used to say, you got to let God do some of it. And that's, in the end, what we want to do is let God do all of it. I was eating popcorn, excuse me. So anyway, that's I think, really key, is developing the witness, being able to separate from controlling what we're doing all the time. That doesn't mean, and who knows what's going to happen. Yeah, you might go crazy. But if you're being mindful and letting go of the thoughts, the chances are that you're going to step into this Wu Wei, what the Taoists call Wu Wei, and just quiet your thoughts, let life happen through you, and your life will unfold. And you will, as this CADUCEUS shows, you will begin to find your way up to remembering who we are. So, did I leave anything out? I had a few notes here, but I think that's about it. Yeah. So I hope this was good. It's a little longer than usual, but anyway, stay creative.